Welcome to Hollywood. Prepare to attack. Select your hero.
I'm just gonna one trick. I mean, I'm already basically a Mora one trick. Basically, only player. I mean, I do play the other ones like if the situation's right. If not, I mean, even like if there's like double shield, generally I would play Baptiste. Unless I just don't feel like playing him and I feel like playing Mora. Oh, you can get on that. Let me try it again. Hold on one second. I gotta go grab something.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
Double, triple, quadruple check your math.
Nothing to worry about. Unless there's something to worry about. As Dr. Liao always said.
There we go. I have officially gotten on here using Mora's fight ability.
5,
Love the new
4,
Fei Jump
3,
ability.
2,
Yeah.
1. Attack commencing. Capture objective A.
Allow me.
Enemy target
This will
located.
restore you. Tell me how this feels.
Got me.
Out of existence!
I require assistance.
Get me. Changing position.
Get into position. Proclaim a hold. Repairing the damage. All through a gliding. Focus with me. Touch from afar.
My barrier is destroyed!
Gale the Mahol.
Moving up. Enemy radar contact. Burning them down.
Activating the barrier!
Your body decays. I cast this forth, healing in half.
Way out of position there. Like, what are on him?
Get into position. Become Karulat.
Soldier 76, reporting for duty.
Barrier's about. My barrier is destroyed!
I cast this forth. I am ready to unleash coalescence.
Okay. What is our soldier doing?
Smoke them out of
Might be
Perhaps a
lagging.
new methodology is required.
Allow me to repair the damage.
This will help.
I require healing.
You're covered.
My ultimate is ready to be unleashed. Surrender to my will.
You're powered up. Get in there.
I will draw the strength from your body. Healing in hand. I cast this forth.
It's the cool thing, you aren't stuck with it. You can leave at any time and you won't get lost. I mean, you can get
When faced with a setback, we must
trouble
challenge
for
our assumptions.
leaving too many times, but leave a lot. That happened before, but that's just because I was on bad Wi-Fi for a while.
Get into position.
Bad guys.
Repairing the
So
damage.
that's 6 weeks.
Get healed.
So yeah. Anyway,
This will heal you. Get in there, Bob.
Touch from afar.
Regenerating the cellular structure.
Your power is mine.
Hail the Maholto. This will restore you.
Watch your back.
Oh my.
Get into position. Surrender to my will. I cast the sword. This will heal you.
Zenyatta is
60 seconds remaining.
Smoke him out of there.
Come up with me. Get behind.
This will restore you. Restoring you.
That's the best you can do.
Touch from afar.
30 seconds remaining.
Easy.
Get into position. Regenerating your cellular structure.
Here it comes.
Gale de Maholo. Help me.
Get in there, Bob.
10 seconds remaining.
I need to recharge. Allow me to repair the damage.
Look, we did not get on point.
Defeat.
But we would. But we didn't.
So
Shut up. What is this? I don't care. Okay, they're not live yet. So, we're going to play another round. Shall we?
Welcome to Malevento.
Oh,
Help me. Oh, to a lagoon. That's much better.
do something.
We must all make sacrifices in the name of science. Touch from afar.
Welcome to Blizzard World. Prepare to attack. Select your hero.
Science will reveal the truth.
A warrior's greatest
so we'll just wait until 2. And...
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
Unless they forgot to... They just forget to
That rifle's a fine
press
piece of
live,
work.
go live.
Looks a little unwieldy, though.
So they're just doing it, not knowing that they're not
In
live.
the hands of an amateur.
I think
Salut.
Hey.
Bonjour.
Salut. Bonjour.
5, 4,
Je m'appelle
3,
Link.
2, 1. Attack commences.
Like an infinite
Capture objective A.
I'm reliving the same
I'm
day
calling
over
it
and
shit.
over again.
What?
I get to do whatever I
Oh,
want. Plus, not to fry
they're live. I was confused for a second. I'm like, is that Greg?
Touch from afar.
Let's do it.
It almost sounded like Greg. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking something.
This will improve your condition.
Or just like, oh, that's Greg.
Get into position. Your power is mine.
Barrier won't hold together.
My will made
Wow. Okay. This is loud. This is 9. Ah.
Observe the barrier.
This is my will.
We're just gonna have it play. I probably should.
Not ready.
Not moving. No.
Repairing the damage.
Hey, at least they started. They didn't forget to press live.
My barrier.
Surrender to my will.
Barrier no longer exists.
I require assistance.
Possession seeks for mine.
This will restore.
Barrier won't hold together.
This will improve your condition.
Get into position.
Enemy
I cast this forth. Point to the range.
Activating the barrier.
Allow me to repair the damage.
My barrier is destroyed.
Wish geschehen.
Objective must be taken.
I require healing. Much obliged.
Alright.
This is my will.
Oh my gosh! Sorry, this thing that's weird. It's just going up really fast. I just went up like.
Is my will.
Guessing that's probably when the notification was sent. That'd be my guess.
Escort the payload.
We must all make sacrifices in the name of science.
Probably gonna die, but I don't care. But I'm so hyped. Overwatch live
No
stream.
doubt desired and surrender to my will.
Get through this.
Oh yeah. Let's. Yeah. I am
Time to raise
Your
my
strength
that's more playable.
touch from afar. Point to the range.
And it's just like so fun because like I'm not ever worried about losing. Yeah, I usually am kind of worried about losing. And I hate that. I wish I wasn't.
It's been
I just like
vain.
try to like go like, oh, I don't care if I win or lose. Oh, it's going up fast too. I guess it's because I wasn't there. But hey.
This will heal you. Help me. I'm restored. Go through a lagoon. The power of destruction.
Possession seeks for mine.
Experience tranquility.
Barrier in place.
Touch from afar.
Barrier.
This will restore you.
Time to raise my
You're just gonna have to die, Sigma. Oh my gosh, there's
Tranquility.
the amount of people watching is just going up.
15 and 45 past each other. My ultimate is ready. Let's go.
Understood.
payload has stopped. We must get it moving.
Get into position. Allow me. I require assistance. Strength flows from you.
Take cover.
This is my will.
Oh yeah.
I need healing.
Come here and get stabilized.
Oh,
Thank you.
Mercy on call.
soldier.
Thanks.
This
Teleporter
is
online.
my will.
We move swiftly.
Nice teleporter.
Hey, it was close. It was
Enemy
close.
contact.
Yeah.
This will heal you, restoring you. Help me.
Mounting power. Forward shield. Taking off.
Surrender to my will. An evolutionary dead end. Your strength ebbs.
Tactical goggles activated.
This will heal you.
Thank you. My barrier is destroyed.
Not yet.
Like the payload moves towards our desired outcome.
Turret forward barrier.
Damn! Allow me to repair the damage.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Help me! Get in position. This will restore you. Oig tipper den jakt. Det känner gott.
Necessary.
A touch from afar.
3 minutes. I want to see the chat. Sometimes the chat is usually really funny. People say weird things.
The power of destruction.
I don't care to watch it.
The payload moves towards our desired outcome.
Reality bends to my will.
I just remembered a really funny Overwatch thing that happened during one of Overwatch League events. Some rapper guy said as
My will made real.
that was
A welcome improvement.
Activating the barrier.
embarrassing.
I require assistance.
Even though I still feel bad for the person.
See you later.
Apagando las luces.
Rigamharula.
Surrender to my will.
Activating to the unknown.
Back at you.
The power of destruction. Scale the Mahol. It's been veiled. The payload moves towards our desired outcome.
Game on.
Your power is
Why does
mine.
Winston get armor? When he gets mad. He just get hit. It's unrealistic that he just
Time to
armor
raise my
will come back.
BPM.
Allow me to repair the damage.
This the leader.
Ooh. Literally, the stream starts right when my match ends. 1 minute and 8 seconds, 1 minute and 4 seconds. It's 4 seconds after, whatever.
This will improve your condition.
Alright guys, Overwatch event, Overwatch developer livestream starts right when this match ends.
Forward barrier.
This will restore you.
I don't know why I said
Heroes never die.
It's just, I enjoy that. Thank you for sharing.
Protect the payload.
You seem in need of aid.
I'm on fire.
yes, let's end it before it starts.
Surrender to
No way.
I have located the enemy.
Unstable. My barrier back at you.
Rallying power to pull at each other.
I'm not dead yet.
My ult.
10 seconds remaining.
Ah, that's alright.
This will heal you.
Tactical gun.
GG.
Endorse them.
Developer live stream where we want to talk about the upcoming Overwatch 2 beta, the alpha, and the general approach to content as well as communication. And joining me to answer some of the many questions I know that we all have after the most recent developer update are no other than Aaron Keller, our game director, Jeff Goodman, lead hero designer, and John Spector, commercial leader. Thank you guys so much for, taking the time to chat with me today. I am just so excited to have you all on for this show. Now, last week, or the last weeks even, must have been pretty emotional for you guys and your teams as well. How are we feeling today?
Well, first, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today, and for everyone that's watching for taking the time to watch. We're so excited to talk to everyone and to continue with our communication. And the team is really excited right now. It's been a long time since we've been able to talk about this, and it's been even longer since we've been in this position where we have people playing a development build of Overwatch. Like, people in the public are doing that right now, and it's so fun to watch. It's so great to interact with those people and hear all of the feedback that they have, and then all of the amazing conversations that it spurs on the team. It's just an exciting place to be in.
Yeah, I think exciting is putting it almost mildly. It's also, I always say, like, when the first time the public of any kind gets to see your game, it's like, it's almost more exciting when you actually ship it, because it's like the first interaction you get and the kind of feedback you're getting. And man, it's been a flurry of feedback. It's been great. We've been reacting pretty aggressively.
Yeah, I'm the new guy on this team now, having just moved over from Overwatch League a couple months ago. But I think just seeing what it's meant to a lot of the people on the team who have been working on this for years to now be able to show that to players, and we're a month and change away from being able to do that in the beta, has just been amazing. And for me personally, it's just so exciting to be here now and have the chance to talk a little bit more about what we're planning to do.
Well, I can't wait to chat about not only the announcements made during the developer update, but also, pick your brains about some first impressions regarding the Overwatch 2 Alpha, which is up and running as we speak. But let's take a few steps back to find out how we actually got here in terms of release/schedule, I guess, with Overwatch 2. When and why did you guys decide to more or less split the game in two?
So that's a really good question. And it is something we have talked about a lot, especially recently and over the last year. And I think to like really put it in perspective, it's important to talk about two values that are core to development for Overwatch. And the first is to always be delivering regular content to the game and updating it and keeping it feeling fresh and exciting. And the second value, and I think that this is a value, it's not just an Overwatch value, it's a value that all of Blizzard shares, and it's to release a game when we feel like it's ready, and when we feel like it's great. And so you take those two values, and then in light of the team kind of choosing this strategy to focus on Overwatch 2, and to put a lot of resources into the campaign and the hero mode for that side of the game,
so excited.
It left the live service with less focus, and by doing that, it put us in like this really difficult position. So we could either be, and it put us in a difficult position because like those two sides of the game were now like tied together. So like Overwatch Live support was now tied to development on Overwatch 2 systems and features, and that's it's a difficult spot to be in, because suddenly you have like these two core values that aren't aligning with each other anymore. Is it like, hey, let's just get Overwatch 2 out as fast as we possibly can, so that we can start supporting the live game some more, but before we actually think it's ready, that it goes against everything that I think Blizzard stands for, or is it, hey, let's keep working on Overwatch 2 and release everything when we think it's great, and have this gap stretch on longer and longer, and we couldn't do that. So in essence, us kind of like splitting both sides of the game from each other is a way for us to start addressing this problem. I love this company. There's like so many talented people here. I've been working here almost 20 years, and one of the reasons that I'm here is because I feel like when Blizzard releases a game, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing, and that it's also going to have a high level of support to it. And so I think pulling these two parts of the game away from each other is our way of addressing all of that, keeping those core values at the same time, and still being able to deliver an amazing experience for Overwatch 2.
Yeah, and I think the feedback to that strategic move has been overarchingly very, very positive. I know we're all so excited to see everything which has been shared from you guys last week. But there has been a big communication drought in Overwatch in the past. So how will your team ensure that things will be different now? Like, how frequent should or can we actually expect some meaningful communication updates heading our way?
Yeah, it's not an excuse, but is sort of more of an explanation. I think part of the reason why we didn't do as good of a job over the last several months in communicating as we wanted to was, as we were sort of making this shift in strategy that Aaron just talked about, it's sort of challenging to talk about that until you figured out exactly how we were going to land that plan, our ability to deliver against it, and all of those things. And so I think the whole team understands that collectively we needed to do a better job, and going forward we need to do a better job of communicating with our players. We made that renewed promise in the update that Aaron shared last week, and I think there's still some skepticism, right? Of, well, they've said this before. Do you actually mean it this time? Our hope is that we're here a week later, coming back and talking to players again, sharing more information, talking about how the alpha's going, all of that stuff, really in that spirit of, we made that promise, we intend to keep it, and even going forward as we look toward our first beta test, our goal really is, even between now and then, to be coming out regularly with more information about what players can expect there, and continuing to respond to questions where we can. So we know that we need to prove it. I think this is hopefully a good first step in that direction, but we have work to do there.
Yeah, definitely a trust-building exercise, but on the right track right here. I'm so glad that all three of you are joining me for a chat today. Now, we did also hear a commitment to delivering more content, but that leaves some people a little bit worried, a little bit scared with the question: has the team grown to a point where it is suddenly able to actually, support that increase in content?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to talk about. The original Overwatch team, when the game shipped, it was like between 60 or 70 people, and it was really small. And we did quickly start growing as we started adding more features to the game. But we're talking about a much bigger experience now, and we're talking about adding a lot more content to the game than we have in the past, especially the past few years. And to do it just takes more people, and so we have been growing, we have been expanding. We're over 200 people now, and we're going to continue to grow on top of that. And we're working on a new big thing, right? And we talk about Overwatch 2 a lot, but like I kind of feel like we have the Overwatch team 2.0 as well. It's this collection of like amazingly talented individuals that all had a love for Blizzard and a love for Overwatch, and a desire to come and help create more things for this game. And we are so lucky to have all of them. And at the same time, I
wonder whose dog is that.
We've still have like this amazing core of people, that helped ship the first game. Like all of the directors on our team, or most of them, we're all there for the inception of the original game. We have like multiple designers on this team that have all been at Blizzard for over 20 years and including Jeff Goodman, and bring like this incredible amount of sort of like experience and knowledge of the game with them. And so yeah, so the team is growing, and it's important for us to keep growing, and it's all because we want to be able to support the game as much as we possibly can.
There we go.
There's certainly no lack of talent on this team or any team at Blizzard, really. And I can see our chat is also complimenting our ability to stare into the camera. We're very good at that. What can you say? Like the deadpan stares, it's perfection at this point. It really is. Now, Aaron, I heard you saying life service earlier. This is something we hear you guys mention quite a bit in the past as well. But what does life service actually mean to the Overwatch team and to Overwatch itself?
Yeah, so live service, I get that it's sort of like an industry label or an industry term, and the way that that we kind of talk about it internally is more of Overwatch being a living game. And I think there's a bunch of components to that. So we want the game to feel like it has like a regular heartbeat to it. And some of that just comes with regular updates to the game. And we want people to be able to like expect more content coming, and even a lot of times expect the type of content that's going to be coming to the game. And when we do that and we do it right, I feel like it is always keeping the game fresh, and it's also like changing the game. So especially like different types of things that we release, you know, from like new maps to new game modes, and especially new heroes, things like that actually change the way that the game is played on a fundamental level sometimes. And I think that's really exciting for players. And this isn't quite answering the question, but to even talk about the past a little bit, like when we kind of like pulled some of our pulled focus away from Overwatch 1 as we were developing Overwatch 2, we stopped releasing heroes to the game. And there was this consensus that Overwatch was maybe in one of the best balance places that it had ever been in, but people still wanted there to be changes to the game. And when we make like balance changes to the game or any type of change, we always want that to be something that's elevating the game and making it better. And we're in like this really awkward position of like, well, the game's in like a really great spot, but people want changes to it. And when you think about further back in the past, when we were releasing more heroes to the game, that wasn't really the problem. The meta was always changing. There was always like different strategies that were happening because there was just enough being added to the game that it felt like this living experience and this thing that people would react to. And there's other types of content in there too. Like if you think about some of the features that we've released since launch of the game, like right after we launched, we released the competitive system. We released the arcade and crossplay. All of those things kind of change the way people think about and play the game. And so part of like a living game and a living experience is to continually be releasing content and features like that. And then like the last part about that is we always want the game to have a connection to the real world and to kind of reflect what's happening in the real world. We love that our game is set actually on Earth, and that people are able to relate to a lot of the different heroes and locations that we have there. But we also like to update it with things like a Halloween event or a Lunar New Year event, things that actually represent parts of our everyday experiences. And so like continuing to add pieces of content like that and updating those is all part of a living game, or like our interpretation of what a live service game is.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, as happy as I am to play Junkenstein Revenge for the next 10 years of my life, I do also appreciate new content coming our way. Now, I want to shift gears. I want to talk about the alpha as well as the upcoming beta. We know the alpha is up and running, the beta just on the horizon. What are your main goals for the alpha as well as the beta? What kind of performance benchmarks, I guess, did your team set yourself for either of those two?
Well, for me and my team, you know, we're very focused on hero balance. I like that Aaron just said the game was perfectly balanced a little bit ago. That's that went over really well. The alpha's not quite that way yet, I will say. But, you know, we made a ton of changes, so certainly 5v5 and a bunch of reworks and stuff has just caused like mass chaos. And especially because, you know, we're in a place where we've played the game ourselves for a long time now, and you know, we have our own sort of internal meta, which is always very different than the external meta, especially when the game hasn't been out. So it sort of like pretty quickly got a lot of feedback about a lot of stuff that was pretty overpowered. So, you know, we have been reacting really quickly and trying to get some changes out there, but it's been super exciting.
I think that there's a lot of interesting things that are happening now that other people are playing it, and Jeff was alluding to it. But there's also like a lot of different skill levels that are in the alpha too. So we don't have Overwatch League players on the development team, and so to be able to see the way that they play the game is fascinating. It's almost like we get two sets of feedback sometimes, or a spectrum of feedback for our game, because it plays pretty differently between like mid skills to high skills, and then like that upper echelon of skill that's there. You know, like you think about the aim, like, and the precision that some of these people play with. It really affects some of the like decisions and the way that we think about the game. And so like,
you're
it's
talking about in game
great to get all of the feedback, but it's also nice to get like a new perspective from people as well. And it's something that we're not really able to get on the team, and now we're able to get as we're watching like a whole new set of players jump into the game, and it's really helping us fine tune some of the balance pieces that we're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, with actually all due respect to my colleagues on the dev team, like playing against Jake on the alpha is a different experience. That happened to be like 3 matches in a row the other night. Thanks, Jake. And it's like there's some of that that's really helpful, I think, particularly for the folks on the design side of things. There's also a bunch of like less kind of cool goals for the alpha and the upcoming beta, of like stability and testing servers and matchmaking systems, and there's a whole bunch of things where changing systems under the hood like we have, and moving to 5v5 and what impact does that have on our queue times and how we do matchmaking and all of those types of things, where it's sort of a little bit less like in your face as a player than, hey, there's a new hero, or we've reworked some of the other heroes or changed balance. But it's also really important for our team.
Yeah, I guess the more data points you can collect from every angle, the better the end result will be. Now, of course, also the more feedback you get, the more comprehensive your feedback is. So I do wonder, how are people actually chosen for the alpha and beta? How do you choose who should come in to give you feedback and who shouldn't?
Yeah, so for the alpha, it's the vast majority of players in there are actually our fellow Blizzard employees. And then we have this group of Overwatch League pros, basically some of like our family members, like my little brothers in the alpha. And I think for a lot of the members of the dev team, being able to invite in even just 1 or 2 of their friends is really cool. And then there's a small handful of others, but it really is this pretty tight group. And again, the spirit of the alpha is to go from just a couple hundred of us testing up to several thousand people when you include Blizzard employees in there, and really to be able to then get enough feedback over this period where by the time that we launch the beta, we've had the opportunity to take a couple of passes at addressing bugs and other types of things like that, some balance changes that we can talk more about, that type of stuff. For the beta, honestly, we've been blown away by just the enthusiasm for it. I think I speak on behalf of all of the poor people on our server and website team. They were prepared too, and it still crashed the server. So we've just been, honestly, all of us, I think, humbled and genuinely feeling really grateful seeing the positive response to that. I think later today, or in a little bit, we're actually going to be able to update the beta sign-up site with an FAQ for players that talks a little bit more about how we plan to select players in the beta, what that process will look like. But our goal, I think, broadly for the first beta is to bring in players in a broad range of skill levels, a broad range of regions, different system configurations, like some people with the new graphics card and some people without, and those types of things. Just again, in that spirit of having a broad and representative test as we continue to roll out this content and get a chance for players to get their hands on it and for our team to get all of that feedback.
Yeah, no surprises at all that the website crashed. So you're trying to be prepared, but just can't be. Just never be prepared for that. Now you said broad spectrum. I saw some people in chat asking already, and obviously all over the internet, console players. Will they be able to get
I have
their
not
hands
seen
on
anybody
the
talk
beta
about
as well?
console.
Will they have a chance to try it out before it goes live?
So for this first beta, we are keeping it to PC only. But while I can't really get into the details of it now, like we do want to include console players at a future point in our beta testing program, and we're working toward doing that.
All right. Well, that's good to know. There you have it, console players.
Show us some changes.
We know that our players, our pro players, are currently wilding out in the alpha. Can you speak to what the reception and feedback from them has been like so far? Like how extensive,
I don't care about feedback.
helpful,
I just care
or
about
even
what's
eye-opening
been
that kind of
going
feedback from that pro level has been for you guys?
In some ways, it's been like
I'm probably
surprising. In
gonna
some
go
ways, it hasn't. I
insane
guess.
if they don't
I'm
show us
really
any.
happy at just the amount of feedback we're getting. It's just been great. It's sort of, we have these channels open to communication. There's like a flood of information. I'm kind of disseminating it to my team. We're deciding what to do all the time. But
it's really great.
It's been really amazing seeing what they do with the reworks, and they pretty quickly called out things that were kind of overpowered that we were worried about. So that I guess that's good and bad.
Oh well.
Obviously Sojourn's in there, and she's kind of based on this railgun. So
chat.
I mean, that's a hyper accurate, high damage weapon. Obviously the pros are going to be pretty good with that. So something we were worried about, and it pretty much immediately came to light. So originally when we were looking at this alpha, we weren't sure how many times we were going to be able to update it. We thought maybe we would just be able to put it out there and gather a lot of feedback, and then maybe move on to beta. But pretty quickly we were just like, okay, we need to patch. We need to make updates to this. We need to respond. We need to iterate. So we've actually been able to do that. I think we just had our first big balance patch today, actually. So we're able to sort of gather that feedback and iterate. It's been amazing, and it's really helpful for sort of to get that new, fresh eyes on everything, especially the pros, and seeing what comes out of it.
Yeah, and there's been some like really interesting pieces of feedback too, and like from the dev team, and even from a lot of the people that are playing in the alpha right now. There's so much positive feedback. A lot of it even around 5v5, where it feels like there's the pace of the game. It's not crazy fast, but it's sped up a little bit. They're getting stuck at chokes, especially behind something like a double barrier, less than they were before. It feels like there's more space to move around the map. And then a lot of times, like you'll look at some of the Overwatch League players, and there's some of that's happening, but it's at like a different level. So when there's only one tank, and when there's a lot less CC out on the battlefield, because that's some of the changes that we've made here also. Sometimes like a tracer can get into the back line and just wreak havoc, because it doesn't feel like there's as much that supports can do. There's not like an off tank that's peeling. There's not other like members of the team that can like sort of like counter some of the abilities that these people have. So like you'll see some of the heroes that we have, especially some of the flanking heroes like Tracer and Reaper, are now like really dangerous back there. And we started getting support that's like, hey, it feels like, or we started getting feedback that it feels like our support heroes are unsupported, and that it's just that they need some work there. And we think that feedback's right. And so we're looking into it, and we're hoping to like preserve all of the things that we think make 5v5 great, but also be able to kind of cater it to this high skill audience, and kind of merge all of that together.
So how do you look into that kind of stuff? Like, what does the process for feedback when it comes to balance changes or concerns, especially? How does that process look like?
I mean, like usual, we get a lot of feedback from a lot of different sources, but we do have like a main channel of feedback where we get kind of from everybody, which is kind of nice that it's centralized. But a lot of it's looking at different people's perspectives and how they're playing it and trying to get context. I mean, we're in direct communication with people. It's not just like a one-way street where they're just sending us stuff. A lot of times we're asking questions about how they're playing it or what maps they're playing on and stuff like that to sort of get better context. But a lot of the stuff that Aaron mentioned is sort of been consistent feedback. For example, that supports feel like they're just really hard to survive. Basically, they're just getting dove on. The meta is really, really fast, for better or for worse. We knew it would be faster, that's for sure, but it's definitely kind of this like super dive right now almost. So I mean, that's something we have this opportunity now to make these changes and iterate on the game and make sure it's in a place where everyone's gonna be happy with it.
Right on. Well, I do wonder how frequent the bug fixes are currently in the alpha.
Why would you
Or I
ask
guess
that?
what I'm asking, what does the turnaround time from feedback / complaint to the fix look like at the moment?
Why would you talk about
I mean,
bug
it
fixes?
sort of depends. We actually had technically, like I said, we had
balance.
the first patch today, but actually that's not even really true. We had a really small patch, I think, on Monday. So we've been able to patch, at least in this case, twice in 1 week, which is pretty nice. But yeah, so I mean, a lot of it depends on not necessarily sort of the tech side and how often we could patch and sort of QA things. A lot of it's sort of getting the feedback and discussing it and talking about what we want to do and how crazy do we want to try things. Sometimes it's we're trying.
Yeah.
We have a patch or two to try really crazy things, and if we tiptoe,
I'm gonna be
try to make
honest,
small changes, maybe we won't get anywhere useful. But if you make like a big change that you think is maybe even too strong, that's more sort of powerful feedback that you can combine with other feedback, and you can get a lot more.
I kind of wish that they
get
would
at
keep
the changes you really need, even if you
66.
think that change isn't going to be maybe what you want. So we did some pretty wild stuff today. We'll see how it plays, but that's kind of how we've been sort of trying to get at it, and how in my opinion, I just want to make changes as much as possible, because iteration is really where we really get at like the real
It's
good
quite
balance
trash,
and where the fun
like
really
news.
is.
Yeah, we also have this there's the balance changes, and then again there's like quality of life. Making one of the goals of the alpha, right, is that by the time we get to the beta, we've addressed some of the bugs that people are talking about that have impacted their experience, and our QA team has been doing an amazing job of like logging literally everything, and then it's sort of a like, how important is this thing to fix tomorrow? And some of the bugs are just like downright funny. I actually sort of wish we hadn't fixed some of them. Someone reported like Winston was too wide to fit through a door on our new map, Circuit Royale. That got fixed. So I think by the time that people get to see that map in beta, in fact, Winston will fit through the door. But there's like a whole bunch of that stuff that, again, when we had a couple hundred people testing this, you don't catch, and we've multiple times already been able to update the build and address things like that are a little more quality of life.
It's definitely chaotic.
Go ahead.
I was just comment on that. It's definitely chaotic to try to get, me and my team trying to get these balance changes in and test. We usually try to run some internal tests too to make sure we're not doing something like really broken. And then of course QA, we're getting bug fixes from the tech side, and everything. We're trying to like corral everything into one patch really quickly as fast as possible at the end. So it's pretty chaotic sometimes, but that's
I'm gonna miss 6v6.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with bugs. We're trying to hit all of the most egregious ones first. So we were able to jump on that Winston issue immediately, but there's or we were missing all of Sojourn's VO lines in the alpha. We didn't know when she ulted. She was just like this silent hero on the field, and people started saying like, oh, I think her ult line, it's like too quiet. I'm not really hearing it. And other people are like, I don't think I hear it at all. And we investigated it, and this was maybe like an hour into the alpha launching. It's like, oh, whoops, they're all missing. And we're even getting feedback even down to like really small things like, hey, the particle effects on this fountain aren't coming out of like the person's mouth, they're coming out of like their forehead. And they'll include like screenshots and movies of it. So it's been really
having my kind of nitpicky feedback.
That's good. You bet.
You should keep
Well,
that.
it's also always hard as a player, right, to figure out like, is this a feature or a bug? Like, is this that way, or is this actually something I should be reporting? Now, obviously, it's still early days in the alpha, but have there been any surprising revelations so far regarding the new content which is featured in the alpha?
Gosh.
Looking at the new game mode push, for example, or some of the hero reworks, the new maps, or maybe just to switch to 5v5.
There's definitely been a lot of surprises on the hero side. I mean, there's some stuff that, I mean, this is like the opposite of answering your question, sort of, but it's in some ways where I was really happy to see some confirmation too, because, we had been playing internally for a long time, and like I said, our internal meta is obviously very different a lot of times, and so we were not obviously are always super confident in it. But we heard a lot of concerns when we talked about 5v5 originally that only main tanks were going to really be viable, probably like Reinhardt. Like, how do you not play Reinhardt in that situation, for example, or something? And internally we were like, man, it really kind of feels like the opposite. Like, we're a little worried for Reinhardt, and we're a little like feeling like Diva and Zarya and are really strong. And so we just sort of like, well, I guess we'll see what happens when we put this in other people's hands. And that, that's one example where it turned out that pretty much they agree that Reinhardt's maybe a little weak, and sort of the off tanks are actually kind of running the show right now. So that, I mean,
especially
it's not
Doomfist.
Yeah, right.
You should
so
talk about Doomfist a little bit.
Yeah.
He is strong.
So Doomfist, probably one of the bigger reworks certainly is switch roles, so that he's a tank now. So that's it's really been super interesting getting feedback on that, because we haven't done that very often. Technically not the first time. Symmetra used to be support originally, way back in the day. But so yeah, Doomfist has been generally extremely positive hearing that, getting the feedback from him. And I was really scared to see what kind of feedback we're going to get, because it's so different. He's a little strong right now, so I don't know how much of the super positive feedback is coming from how strong he is, but I was really worried about him in particular, because there are certain heroes in our game that have a really strong sort of feel to them that if you play a lot, you sort of get attached to, and it's really hard to distance yourself from that, especially heroes like Tracer and Genji and Doomfist, like the high mobile heroes like that. So Doomfist is definitely one of those. You have the dedicated fan base, but from what we've got feedback on so far from the dedicated Doomfist players that we have, they're generally really excited for it, and they're really happy even with the role change. So I've been really happy about that. We have to nerf him a little bit, but like everything else.
Oh, but
Someday I want to find out how these changes happen. Like, someday a diff shows up and the offense like, how about he's a tank now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to speak to that actually is to kind of why it went that way. I think it's interesting. Part of one of the major sort of overarching changes we were trying to get at for the combat of the game is to just reduce crowd control effects a lot. So a lot less stuns, especially hard crowd control effects. So, and we're looking at Mei, and we changed how Mei's freeze work. It only works on our ult now and stuff like that. And those are kind of like low-hanging fruit things that we can change. And then it comes to a hero like Doomfist. You're like, well, what do we do? This guy's sort of built on crowd control. So we either needed to basically go in there and change probably a lot of his kit, or like really reduce crowd control on how he functioned, which is hard, sort of a combo-based hero, or move into a tank role. And the tanks are where we're kind of allowing the crowd control and the hard crowd control to exist, so we could sort of maintain a lot of this feel in his kit in that role. And so that's kind of what we ended up going with, and it worked out really well. So, but yeah, as Aaron mentioned earlier, it has led to some scary issues with heroes that we knew were going to be maybe problematic because they're kept in check by crowd control, like Tracer, Genji, Reaper. So we had some plans we had some things in place to sort of reduce their power, but it clearly wasn't enough. So we're still working on that.
Yeah, it's been like really interesting to watch a lot of that too, and like Doomfist in particular, like he kind of illustrates the way we've been trying to handle the CC abilities in game, is by moving them, as many of them, into the tank role as we can. And part of that is because because there's only one tank on the battlefield now, it reduces how many are out there. And also, like, for tank players, we would get feedback that sometimes it just felt like you were in a pinball machine, as you're on the front line and you're getting hit by the crowd control abilities of like all 6 heroes, on the enemy team. And so it just kind of helps for us to center them there. And so like it made a lot of sense to move Doomfist that way. But at the same time, like he was like such a fast hero that he could be all over the place sometimes. And so like we did a little bit to slow him down. He's still very mobile, there's been a change to his kit, and we'll go into like more details of like the change to his kit and to Rissa's kit later. But like at this point, like he basically has a leap that's similar to a Winston's leap to get in, and so like his ability to initiate some of these fights is actually pretty amazing, and also like the cause of some of the issues that he has. Like imagine a Doomfist that's able to get in, is more survivable than he used to be, and also has like the ultimate escape to kind of pop out of combat. So we're kind
It
of
does do a lot
looking
less
at that.
damage though.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. You're right. So okay, yeah. So don't imagine that.
You're scaring people.
I mean, honestly, like, it's also always depends on who is playing that Doomfist. If I'm playing the Doomfist on your server, you have nothing to be worried about. I'll be leaping in there, and then I'm just kind of well and now.
I mean, that is
There's that. Now, I want to talk about another brand new feature, which has not been getting quite as much spotlight so far, which is the ping system. I personally love it, but I would love to hear your thoughts on the process, why you felt this is necessary to be added. Like, what were you hoping to improve or fix with the ping system?
Yeah, so the ping system has actually been great, and I agree with you. There's moments there where it feels like it changes the way you play the game or think about the game. And there's a lot of reasons to do a system like this. You know, not everybody wants to communicate using voice comm. And our game's obviously too fast to be able to strategize over like in-game chat. Like that's obviously not going to work. And then a ping system also, a lot of times it can be more precise even than voice can be, because it will use real-world locations or in-game real-world locations, and also like in-game context too. And so like to talk about that a little more, like the ping system that we're doing, it's very context sensitive. So depending on what you're pinging, who your hero is, who like what the other enemy team is, can change a lot of those pings. So like some of like the really cool things in it are enemy players behind walls can't be pinged, you can't see them. But if they're revealed by Hanzo or Widowmaker, suddenly you can start pinging those targets. Some heroes can actually remove pings from themselves. So like when Moira fades, removes ping on her. She just used an escape on it. You can ping non-heroes in the game, like Bob. And also it's like totally customizable. So not only is it context sensitive, but then we have something kind of similar to the comms wheel, where you can select the different pings that are more important to you. So you don't always have to use the context sensitive ping. You can use all sorts of other different ones. And so that's kind of like a lot of some of the reasoning behind it, some of the features that are in there. But we've also gotten like a lot of like really great feedback on the ping system, even just simple things like, hey, it needs to be more responsive. The ping wheel needs to be more responsive. Just like clicking the world needs to be more responsive. So we're working on that. We also realize it's not quite noticeable enough. And what we have in there is kind of our first pass on it, but we're going to start kind of like getting more there on like the visuals and the sound side of it. We're looking at more context-aware features. There's like a really great suggestion from one of our content creators to like for a support character, for them to actually have unique VO lines depending upon which support character is pinging. So like right now, if you're support and you ping, it'll say something like, come to me for healing. But wouldn't it be great if it was Anna and she said something like, get in line of sight so I can heal you? Or if it was Lucio saying like group up on me for healing and things like that. And so we're looking into a lot of feedback like that. We're also fixing bugs. Like right now, you can use the ping system when you're dead, and you probably ought not to be able to do that. So it's been like a really like great addition to the game. We've gotten great feedback on it, and I'm super excited for it.
I'll just add too, like I think on the ping system, the conversation we just had about Doomfist, like a lot of these things obviously are a lot easier to show players versus us sitting here talking to all of you. I think just to address that sort of head on, we're a week into our alpha. This morning we significantly updated the balance for Orisa and for Doomfist and for a lot of these things. And so what we plan to do is, as we get a little bit closer to our April beta, we do plan to come back and say, hey, here's all of Doomfist's new kit. These are his new abilities. This is how much damage these things do. The leap does these types of things, and we will show that. The same is true on something like a ping system, where just more descriptive and more just visual. What does this look like? Like, we know that people most want to see that. It's a little bit of we're making significant changes through the alpha on these things, and we want to make sure that when we come out and we talk about the Orisa rework, it's explaining she has a javelin now as an aside, right?
Like, oh no, that really
we just changed a lot of how that works this morning in response to feedback. We want to make sure that we have probably one more crack at updating some of these really significant things before we come out with here's how all of that works and looks.
Exactly. So you gotta practice some patience. See, chat ain't usually that good about it. I know you all are just dying to see content and features and like all the great things coming our way, but you have to wait a little longer for that. Now, the more we chat, of course, the more excited I get about watching, you know, the first few official OWL matches and playing all that new content with my friends. Now, while I do love an air of mystery, and I still laugh about a good old Suntia meme, is there actually a specific date set for when the beta will officially hit the general public who have signed up for it?
April 26th. That's our plan.
There it is!
Can't be more direct than that.
Yay! That's actually one day after my birthday.
Can't believe you answered that question, actually.
No one's ever asked this before. Other people just have to ask. Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. Well, April 26th, then mark your calendars on this exciting announcement. I think we should be ready to wrap things up here. Aaron, I would like to hand it over to you for some last words to our community.
Yeah, sure. This has been like a really exciting time, and I think what the team is like really looking forward to isn't just the alpha, but like the rest of what's coming. You know, like this is going to be such an exciting time for our community, for our players, for the team. We're so excited for it. We can't wait to bring you along for the journey. We can't wait to get in front of you more, talk about the game more, talk about some of the things that are coming and our insights and some of the feedback and changes that we're doing. So thank you so much for watching. And have a great day. We can't wait to see you and play with you in the future.
Wow. You know, that was really disappointing. Time to go play some Overwatch. Wow, that was sad. I'm gonna try to get my way up to...
Now traveling to Petra.
I'm confused what they were talking
Science
about.
will reveal the truth.
I mean, I feel like they were just like, whoa, okay. I think they were just kind of going on and on too long about the topic. Like, okay, we get it. I wish they would have at least shown something.
Touch from afar.
Anything. No, didn't really get much, unfortunately.
Get into position.
Greetings. Guinea.
Wow, that is a really long range. Oops.
I require assistance. This will heal you.
No.
This is my will.
Oh yeah. What the? This is so much damage. Why?
Hey there.
Bye-bye.
This will heal you. My condition is improved.
So I'm guessing you main that person? Yeah. I am more main. I'm basically a one trick. Basically. I mean, I play BAP and Ana. But yeah, I really only play Mora.
Science will reveal the truth.
I only play BAP if like I feel like it.
Fight for it!
I require
Justice reigns from...
the power of destruction. Surrender to my will.
No.
Now arriving at Ilios. Prepare for battle. Select your hero.
Widow is the best.
Liquor, bruh.
What do you say?
I'm gonna play Liquor Stole. I'm gonna get drunk. Oh, but yeah, this bullshit. This is vaping with extra steps.
You want to hear?
Oh, can I hear your vape, by the way?
Science will reveal the truth.
Don't forget to stretch.
Okay. Widow's the best, I think. Like the best hero in all of Overwatch. Or like your main.
Okay, what it does is you stick and it inserts that little marble in there.
Truly is wasted on
them. And then light the cigarette.
At least statistically,
And so
If I miss this,
What, you guys dabbing?
Can
I bum a ciggy, bro?
Wait. Okay, I didn't.
5, 4,
Wait,
one
one second.
2.
What the fuck?
Round
What's
one.
high-tech as
We're losing
shit?
this game.
The objective.
Sharon is Karen. Of nicotine. Yo, on a bowl? I got you. Fuck yeah, you already know.
To repair the damage.
I got a fire. Shit.
I kill her.
Okay.
Yeah, we're fucked.
You're in the area.
Oh, help me! Get into position. I'm restoring. I will draw the strength from your body.
The objective is
Ah!
now active.
Stop!
Oh, I got one-shotted. Oh, that was fun.
Do something
Alright.
with Sarah. Or
Yeah, switch him. I'll get in the kitchen. Oh, man.
Mercy and calm.
I'm not dead yet.
God damn, bitch.
This will heal you.
Duncan.
Oh, pharmacy. Whoa, so fun. Whoa.
You seem in need of aid.
Oh, I need healing. My thanks.
Ooh,
my
damn,
gosh.
direct hit. Hold on, guys. Everybody's low as fuck right now.
No shot.
I'm swinging in on the
He's
signal.
just sitting there chilling.
Curious. My will
Let me
made
crit.
real.
Locking on.
Whoa, how did he drop right there?
Injured again.
Flight routine activated.
Oh.
One of mine point.
Justice reigns from above.
Wow, what a fun game. Wow.
Tell me how.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for going Sigma there. Sigma's just sitting there.
That's not even a good idea. Go bad.
Wow, there's the fire. Wow, so cool. What a fun game.
Two here. Take one.
Get them off me.
Oh, come on, dude.
Mobility increased. Finishing them off.
Picture that.
Meteor strike.
No, I'm so stupid. Wait,
Dude. Dude, roll back out into my face. What a fun game, dude.
Kill two.
Activating the barrier.
No res, no res. Like the boy with hiding.
Oh my god, back is Gary.
Where does it
Overtime. Easiest comeback of my life.
I understand.
No contest.
Enemy target located.
They're going to have barrage. I'm going right.
Amplification
matrix ready. Matrix.
Same with big ult probably.
Not you good as
Oh, there's more.
You're going step right.
Anything you need?
System health compromised.
Observe the barrier.
Odds one.
Mobility increased.
Let them up.
Never die.
Big low.
I'm on.
Nice, we just play smart. Good shit.
Yeah.
I heard you.
Always have the noon deck. They use more rolls than anything else. Yeah.
Wait, what?
They use more rolls. That's it, I think. They might have flux.
I don't think they had a more.
My legs aren't really mine.
Taking off.
How much had a mine there?
Oh, I'm so fucking dumb at this.
What are you scared of? I'm gonna get him real quick. Cover me, cover me.
This is not your time.
I can get better.
Damn.
This rebel.
I could try.
I got it. My bad.
My turn.
Good. My bad. Why would you get hooked though? Yeah, my bad. Unfortunately.
Yeah, out of all the things you got hooked for.
Score.
I could have been punched, rocked, slept, uppercutted, slammed, fluxed, you know?
It's not hooked.
All of the above.
Yeah, that one's on me.
Stay out of the water.
Yeah, like, I'll make a basket first round, and I won't get hooked this round.
Yeah.
Here, I got you.
Don't just stand around.
I heard you.
If you don't make this, we're gonna lose this game.
I'm making it first try.
Oh.
That's us.
Oh my god.
Yo, back up, bro. I got you.
Hey, okay, we're winning this
5,
game.
4,
Alright,
3,
we got it.
2,
Yeah.
1.
You hit it.
Round 2. Capture the objective.
Stop fighting for what you believe in.
Okay, back
Not
it
enough.
is.
Yeah, we're a wall type of team.
No dying on my watch. Fully healed.
Get
in here.
Probably shouldn't have used all.
I'm shit you.
Oh fuck it.
The objective is now
No shot, she resisted him forever.
All better. Now. That guy's heads up.
I got res that. Hey, you're good. You're safe.
Verstanden.
Guess it wasn't my time. Observe the battle.
I'm on fire. Please do not contact emergency services.
Cool.
Ball's on me above us. He's about to slam on
My
our back.
ultimate is ready.
Topping you up.
Please move team up for
Let them up.
Come on, see it.
Focus my targets.
Heroes never die.
justice reigns from above.
Enemy target.
We still need you. Move back.
Step right.
I guess it's winnable.
C'est tant qu'on me gonne,
Yeah,
I'm
that's stallable.
You are advised.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep stalling it.
Bullet. Regen burst activated.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I had to res somebody. You guys are right next to each other. I just clicked res and Sig was the first one who got it.
Mercy? Mercy?
Help me, bro. Everyone's low as fuck.
No. What?
Oh my mighty lord.
This is not your time.
He deserves
yourself
up. Dust yourself up. I got him. Oh.
You brought one back.
Okay, I couldn't see you, man.
No, it's okay. I was standing in this.
Parents right there. Parents behind us.
I'm done.
Just gotta keep getting these hooks.
There's so many external factors.
Gotta back out. Gotta back out.
Science
wait, Doom's
will
just right
reveal
here.
the truth.
Oh fuck. There one. No way, dude. This is right here.
This
No.
will restore you.
Fucking ball. Annoying as fuck.
Yeah, can we get like an honor? Can we sleep it or stun it?
Yeah, that would be cool. Over
Touch from afar.
Let's get you back out there. My ultimate is ready. Go. I'll be watching over you.
You.
Moving up. I'm restoring.
Ours
That's a great.
They walk.
Justice. Team up for special attack.
They walk.
This will heal you. If we are to progress, we must claim the objective.
Oh, you're right. I couldn't go anywhere, man.
Dude, I was right next to you.
I know. I could have played.
You could have super jumped. What the fuck?
I couldn't.
It's so tricky.
There was no one I could
Alright,
fly to.
this is easy now. But holy shit, dude. Hawk's going far, right?
Adjusting angle of attack.
Hawk's right side. Hawk's right side. Hawk's right side.
Ready to be unleashed.
Yeah, he's far.
I'll res.
Oh, I'm bad.
Injured again. I need to recharge.
Step right up.
Surrender to my will.
Zoning.
Winston reporting.
Reinvert rover.
Good help, Echo.
This is my will.
Okay.
Just try to play safe. Stay alive.
Dude, we're actually throwing by overextending.
Duplicating mercy.
That was such an easy game.
Echo online.
It was just
Faced with a
overextended.
setback.
The thing is just did not get
Challenge
punished.
our
We having Moira.
It's so easy
What?
game. That was such an
GG.
easy
Something wrong for more. Alright, let's just go into another match because I feel like it. Alrighty.
Arriving at Chateau Gia.
Science will reveal the truth.
KO.
I require assistance. My will made real.
I'm down.
Your strength fades.
KO.
Allow me to repair the damage. The power!
Adaptive circuits engaged.
I must reflect upon this. This will restore you.
KO.
I'm overloading!
I'm under attack. This will heal you. Shohei Mahol. Strength flows from you. Surrender to my will.
Meteor strike. KO.
Welcome to Rialto. Prepare your defenses. Select your hero.
What is my all-time season high?
Science will reveal the truth.
It's the highest I've ever been.
The true struggle is for the superiority of ideas.
Alright team, let's lose this.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I will be your professional thrower for this game. I'm just kidding.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My
Attackers
will
incoming. Stop the payload.
Enemy, come and face me! Go!
This will restore you. I require assistance. This will improve your condition. The power of destruction.
Oh, sleeping.
I pass this forth. Injured again. Get into position.
Bad guy. Heads up.
Regenerating your cellular structure.
I'm under attack.
This will heal you. I'm under attack.
Oh my god.
Your strength ebbs. Enemy surrender to my will. I understand.
We're leaving with it.
Allow me to
Enemy
Perhaps a new methodology
No
is
one can
required.
hide from my sight.
This will restore you. My shot repairing the damage.
Enemy turret eliminated.
Our enemy returns. I'm under attack.
Easy.
Tell me how this feels.
I'm on fire. This will help.
Strong as eagles.
Get into position. Enemy turret within my sight.
Double, triple kill.
This is my will. I'm on fire. You'd be wise to stay out of my sight.
Hello.
Hello. Hello there.
Don't worry,
My
friend.
will made real.
I am your shield.
Time to the lash. Healing sleep. Touch from afar. Enemy turret within my sight.
Down.
60 seconds remaining.
Overloading. Enemy turret destroyed.
My ultimate is ready to
No
be
one can
unleashed.
hide from my sight.
They have a lever.
Yay.
This is my will. I will rebuild you.
30 seconds remaining.
They are running out of time.
I'm overloading.
Fire at will. My double made real. Hello. Healing in the repairing the damage.
10 seconds
Their
remaining.
inevitable defeat is becoming reality. Nano boost administered. Surrender to my will.
Step right up.
Get here.
Score 0-0. Switching sides. Prepare to attack. Select your hero.
Well, I guess he's back. That's good for them.
He shall prove
I
us
cast this forth.
in glorious combat. Greetings.
My
I
ultimate
salute
ability
you.
is charging.
Attack commences in 30 seconds.
This old dog still knows a few tricks.
Coalescences, group up with me.
Oh.
Quit screwing around.
Nothing
and
but
get ready to
coal
move.
for you.
This old dog still knows a few tricks.
What an interesting hypothesis.
I salute you.
A tiger
5,
by the tail
4,
is still a
3,
tiger.
2,
What are you on about?
1. Attack commencing. Escort the payload.
Judge.
My will made real. Victim Karula. Allow me to repair the damage. The payload moves towards our desired outcome.
This will help.
New beginning. New thinking.
Der Kampf ist noch nicht vorbei.
I'm restoring you. This will heal you. I cast this forth.
I'm on fire.
My ultimate is almost ready.
Touch from afar.
Activating second.
The payload is approaching.
Tactical visor activated.
Destroyed.
The power of destruction.
Alright. GG.
Victory.
Oh, it didn't even... I don't think it even increased. I think it's just the same number as it was last time I was at that SR or whatever. I don't know. Well, that is the end of my stream because I am hungry and I want to finish a video that I've been working on for months because I am very lazy. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Thank you all for watching. This stream is probably the most views I've gotten. I peaked at 9 views, which I've never peaked at that before. Anyway, thank you all, and I'll see you later.